It's been a few months since my life has gone back to normal. Currently, I do not feel safe anywhere. I used to dorm at my college, but I had to go home during the second semester due to some strange occurrences happening there. I do not plan on dorming anytime soon. It might not be the smartest thing to share this since it's still all under investigation, but it will hopefully make people more cautious with social networking. It's made me very wary of ever trusting strangers online again. November of last year was when the first message appeared. Ever heard of Snapchat before? For those of you who don't know what Snapchat is, it's an app that lets you send picture messages to your friends, but they only last for a couple of seconds. Once those seconds are up, the picture disappears forever, meaning you can never see them again. You can only send pictures you take at the moment, and they can only be seen for the few seconds you time then. You can also draw and write on the pictures. You can send videos even if you wanted to. I never really knew about Snapchat until I was introduced to it by my friends. They practically encouraged me to download it, and being the weak-willed person which I am, I gave in to the peer pressure. It seemed kind of fun at first. I was taking photos and sending them like crazy. Most of the time, I just took pictures of myself making the goofiest of faces and putting random letters for the text. I also went out of my way to take pictures of the funniest things. I remember taking a photo of this dude's butt crack while we bent down to tie his shoes. Yeah, it was sick, but it was downright hilarious. There are lots of people who added me as a friend on Snapchat. Most of them came from Facebook or the contact list on my phone. This also included some people I didn't know very well, but they still sent me pictures either way, and it was actually pretty nice. I guess Snapchat made it easier to break the ice with people which I added randomly or hadn't even seen in a while. On this one day, however, in November, someone called We Are One Forever added me on Snapchat. At the moment, I don't think too much of it. I figured, heck, it was just another one of my Facebook friends. Instantly, this person sent me this first message. It was on a piece of paper with sharpied handwriting on it, and there was a heart drawn underneath it. It read, "Hey, cutie, how are you?" Once 4 seconds had passed, the message disappeared. I was flattered by the fact that whoever this person was referred to me as a cutie. I'm guessing it was probably a girl who was flirting with me a little bit. I sent her back a picture of me with my eyebrows raised and a smirk on my face. After that, I added, "I'm doing good. You think I'm a cutie?" And then sent it to her for 5 seconds. About a few minutes later, I got another picture from her. The picture was of a teddy bear carrying a red heart with a white backdrop. The text read, "You're in my top 5. Right away, I really wanted to know who this person was. For the next couple of days that we messaged each other, she never sent me a picture of herself for some reason. She wouldn't even tell me her name. I kept pushing her to send me a picture, but she always made excuses or sent stupid, stick figures instead. With that, I believed that she was either really ugly or shy, and I was hoping for the latter. I decided to let it go, thinking that she must be really into me if she's secretive with revealing her face or even her name. One day, while I was at the library, I checked Snapchat real quick while I was taking a break from typing a paper for one of my courses. Sure enough, there was a message from We Are One Forever. As soon as my finger tapped it open, I almost jumped out of my seat. She sent me a picture of a person. This is the first time that she'd ever done so, but that's not what got me all bothered about this picture. I knew that the picture of the person definitely wasn't her. In fact, it was a guy sitting on a couch, white shirt, blue sweatpants, looking straight into a laptop. Bookshelves in the background. The text read, "I see you." I looked around, and behind me, there was no one who seemed suspicious, just a bunch of college students in their own little worlds. Still, I didn't want to read too much into it. After all, why psych myself out for something that seemed like it was harmless flirting? I sent her a picture of me with this confused look on my face and typed out, "I don't see you. Why didn't you say hi?" The next picture she sent me was of a poster of my college mascot with the text, "I was so nervous. You're just so cute." From how I saw it, it just seemed like I had a secret admirer who possibly went to the same college. I sent her a message asking, "So, you go to?" and my college name too. She never answered my question, even though she opened my message. Things got weirder after that small incident. A couple of times, she sent pictures of me walking into lecture halls, eating in a cafe, making lines for food, and heck, even talking to my friends. I don't remember all of the texts, but there was some that stood out to me like, "I see you everywhere." It's so funny how close I am to you, and one day you'll know who I am. I started to think to myself that this was just my friends playing a joke on me. I asked my best friend Andrew one day if he was the one sending me all those weird Snapchats. He told me he had no idea what I was talking about, and I explained to Andrew the whole thing. That this person called We Are One Forever had been sending Snapchats of me. Andrew said that's pretty creepy, and that I must have had some obsessive stalker who obviously had no life. I was secretly hoping he was the one behind all of it, but I knew he was telling the truth. We Are One Forever doesn't have the same writing as Andrew has. Besides, the dude can't lie his way out of a paper bag. After talking to Andrew, I asked all of my friends about it, but they also gave me the same answer. Either it really wasn't them or they were planning some elaborate mindfuck on me. One of them had to come clean, but no one ever did. And the Snapchats were getting a little too eerie. My secret admirer started sending pictures of only me and nothing else. She rarely added text on them anymore. It was like she was playing Where's Waldo with me, and oddly enough, I was Waldo. It became her mission to send a picture of me at least once a day. I began to pay more attention to my surroundings, but the only people I see every day were my friends. I never saw the same face everywhere I went either. I figured my friends had to be the ones messing with me. Eventually, I stopped sending messages to We Are One Forever, thinking it was probably best to just ignore it and act like it wasn't even bothering me. I didn't mention the messages anymore, and I even stopped opening them. They just kept piling in though whenever I went on Snapchat. The fall semester was almost over at this time. December came, followed by colder days and nights loaded with college assignments, projects, and final exams. Even though all of this sounded intimidating, I was a little relieved, to be honest. It gave me an excuse to focus all of my attention on something more important than those messages. And yet, whenever I looked at my phone though, just to see a text message, I always saw that notification from Snapchat. We Are One Forever sent you a message. After a week of ignoring them, I finally let curiosity get the better of me. Once I started opening, I saw a picture of me, but when I blinked, it was already gone. I opened another message, me again, but it disappeared just as fast as the last one. As I opened those messages, one by one, I could feel my heart starting to sink deeper and deeper with each message. There were all pictures of me all over the campus. I couldn't even fathom as to how this person was even able to follow me from one place to another. She took pictures of me during lectures, when I come out of bathrooms. That day, I decided to stay in my dorm since I started becoming paranoid. My friend, John Michael, wasn't there most of the time. Some of my friends were texting me to join John and them for lunch, but I wasn't in the mood to come out and show myself to the secret admirer. She seemed to know where I was every single time. To avoid my chances of being another Snapchat message, I only came out that day to buy myself a sandwich. When I looked at my phone a few times, I was pleasantly surprised at the lack of Snapchat notifications which I'd gotten from her. I was able to breathe again normally, even though there was still a part of me worried about going out. After all, I couldn't just stay trapped in my dorm room every day. I had classes to be in, friends to hang out with, parties to go to. I wanted to go to them before the semester ended. That night though, I couldn't really sleep. I felt more alive at that moment than I did the whole day. It was impossible for me to go to sleep when I had a million thoughts racing through my mind. Unsurprisingly, all of those thoughts were related to those damn Snapchat messages. Finally, I fell asleep for what felt like hours of looking into darkness. The next morning, I woke up tired and not in the greatest of moods, to be honest. I checked my phone. It was 12 in the afternoon. Out of habit, I also checked Snapchat for any new messages I could have received. The more recent messages were from We Are One Forever. Her messages took up all of my Snapchat. I'd been sent almost 50. Seeing her very name almost made me tremble with morbid curiosity. Before I opened the messages, I noticed something was off about them right away. She sent me videos in more recent Snapchats, which is something that never happened before. Also, the time she sent me those messages were about 6 hours ago. It made me extremely hesitant to open any of them, but something inside of me was demanding just to do it. She had to have been taking photos of me that night, but I was in bed the whole time. However, once I opened the first message, I couldn't believe with my own eyes, and even thought for a second that I was going insane. I wanted to scream immediately. I regretted my decision of ever opening that message. At first, I couldn't make out what the picture was of. It seemed dark, but she must have enabled the flashlight option because there was a bright light illuminating the subject of the picture. Even though the picture was only for a second, I was able to make out that there was something in the second and the third picture, and by the 20th picture, my eyes confirmed it was someone lying in a bed. It made my heart beat unnervingly fast. It was horrible. Those were the most horrifying seconds of my life. I kept opening these messages. They were the same pictures of someone sleeping. The more recent messages become clearer and closer. The views of the person were getting clearer now. The closer they were, the more they confirmed my fears about the person in the picture. And the videos, oh god, the fucking videos. They would only have been 5 videos, but they showed uncomfortable close-ups of that person's face, glowing in the flashlight. And then there was a typical noisy silence audio in the background, and my own face sleeping. It broke me down as I immediately dialed my college's police department, told them someone broke into my room last night. Then I was being stalked by someone I didn't even know, who was sending me pictures of myself. I tried to explain as much as I could, but they didn't even understand what I was saying because it sounded like a complete mess. They came over to check up on my dorm room, observed any forcible entry that could have taken place. They even questioned my roommate for an hour. I showed them my Snapchat to provide the multiple messages a person was sending me. Unfortunately, they couldn't be received and they couldn't see the actual pictures. I told my parents about it a week later. They wanted me to get picked up as soon as possible, even though the finals were coming up. After I was finished though, I went back home and the messages stopped for a while. I didn't see anything from We Are One Forever for the second semester of college. The police are still trying to find out the predator and currently trying to contact the makers of Snapchat to receive those terrifying pictures. At the time, my life was going back to normal, and yeah, I was still using Snapchat for the innocent fun of it. The last days of that semester though, become a complete different story altogether. It was a typical Friday. I was home alone watching TV and chowing down on some snacks. I just completed the last of my finals, so I was treating myself after all the stress that come from college and especially that slightly traumatizing situation, but all of that changed once my phone vibrated. This whole wave of dizziness took over me as I read what was on the screen. We Are One Forever has sent you a message. I was conflicted what to do at that moment, and maybe I shouldn't have opened the message at all. Maybe I should have just deleted Snapchat from my phone and saved myself the trouble, but when I did open the message, I was clearly met with the new image of my house in broad daylight. Not just my whole house, but specifically the view of the kitchen window. The picture only lasted for 5 seconds and it was kinda hard to see due to the slight grainy quality, yet it was noticeable enough to detect my own self sitting by the table, eating my cereal in the morning, looking outside the window at what I remembered to be particularly nothing at all. Update 1. I've noticed a lot of you guys have questions regarding creating screenshots / saving the Snapchats. I couldn't have screenshotted them before because I didn't have that immediate press 2 buttons options on my screen. I have to tap a little white circle that opens up certain functions. However, it's been really hard for me to do that and to keep the Snapchat open at the same time since you've been pressing for it. Back then, I wasn't aware of apps that could ever save Snapchats. When I was finally able to download the Snapchat, it was during the early summer. It was too late for We Are One Forever, and because they weren't sending me Snapchats anymore. Update 2. Some of you requested proof of those dreadful pictures. I can't show them to you because 1. About 99% of them are corrupt, the ones that show me at least, and 2. They are considered evidence for an ongoing investigation. There are those of you asking why I haven't deleted my Snapchat yet. This person obviously knows what college I go to and where I live. We have to bust her / him / whoever so I can feel safe again. If I just deleted or blocked him / her or whoever, then I won't ever know who is stalking me. They could even cause unspeakable harm to me. I don't know if what I saw was true, but I'm pretty sure it was. You might think I'm mad, but I've read loads of accounts of people on the internet who have said that shit like this has happened to themselves and they have recounted it for others to read, and now I'm going to do the same. Here it goes. Snapchat is a fun little app where people take selfies and send them to each other. I use Snapchat pretty much every day to send pictures of myself doing stupid things to my friends, and they would send pictures of themselves back. That was, however, until one afternoon. I had just returned home after a long day at school, made even longer by the fact that my friends were absent, one of them being very close to me due to his little brother's funeral. So I decided to recline on the sofa and procrastinate on my iPad for a while, as I usually did. My procrastination took the form of messing about on Snapchat. I had a few unopened pictures. Several were from the friend who had been absent that day. I opened them. Each of them was a selfie of him in his room after the funeral. He looked like shit. I guess he just wanted empathy from the many girls he was looking to hook up with. So I sent him a picture of me with a message attached saying, "Chin up, man." It wasn't long until he replied. He just replied with a somber image of himself and a simple message saying thanks, but something caught my eye for the briefest of seconds. A pair of eyes, sunken and dead, peering out of his wardrobe. I was a little shaken by this, as I could not be sure that I saw this. For images sent via Snapchat can only be viewed for 10 seconds, then they're deleted. I immediately replied, "You alright, man?" with a picture of me trying not to look freaked out. I waited anxiously for his reply, when a little notification that I had one unread Snapchat appeared popped up on my screen. I was slightly nervous about opening it. I was worried about what I would see. I was worried about what was waiting for me. Curiosity got the better of me. I opened the message, another picture of my friend, and a simple message saying, "Yeah." At this point, my iPad froze, leaving the picture from my friend's message on the screen. I couldn't do anything. Then, the home button didn't work, nor did it lock. I was left with the image of my friend staring back at me. This gave me the chance to view the picture more in depth. After a closer inspection, I saw nothing out of the ordinary. No eyes in the wardrobe. In fact, his wardrobe was closed. I was about to hook up my iPad to my computer to see if I could unfreeze my device when I noticed that my wardrobe was open. It started out as a pretty normal night. I got home from the daily soccer practice, ate a few bowls of Lucky Charms or whatever sugar-filled delicacy was in my drawers. Then I pulled out my phone to see if anybody wanted to be social, like normal things, but no text, no Twitter notifications, and no more recent Snapchats. For those of you who are not too tech savvy and aren't aware of this app, it allows you to send pictures to friends for a couple of seconds. Usually, after the late night games of FIFA, there would be one or two Snapchats from good friends, but nothing too spectacular. Until that night, I had just finished my 9th game of FIFA, and it was about 1:15 in the morning. Considering it was a Tuesday and I had an important test the next day, I figured I should probably catch some sleep. Of course, not without checking my Snapchat, with my eyes barely able to stay open now. I managed to open up the app. It was the usual, no notifications. I wasn't bothered too much, and honestly, the only thing I was thinking about was a sleep I so desperately needed. So, I shut off the phone, plugged it into the charger, and fell into a deep sleep. The next morning was like any other. I woke up at 5:30, thought of several excuses why I shouldn't go to school, but eventually I convinced myself to get up. As I rolled over to unplug my phone, it was unplugged from the charger and placed next to me on my bed. Unlike the shelf on my dresser where I believed I left it the night before. I disregarded this, thinking I just knocked it over in my sleep or something. However, as I turned over and saw my phone, I saw a sight that I'm so unused to seeing. 12 Snapchat notifications. Did I really become the most popular guy at school overnight? As I opened up my Snapchat to see who they were all from, the names were varied from people I haven't seen since grad school, to Bum the brunette who lives a few doors down. What could possibly have been snapping me? Reluctant as I was at first, I opened up each Snapchat one by one, amazed by the same shocked facial expression that everybody had, and the same words that were written. Who's that man laying next to you, dude? I was quite the adventurous type. I had always enjoyed camping outside and stuff like that. Anyway, I was on a camping trip one day on my own. I liked hiking as well, so I hiked out quite a way and set up my camping. I hadn't told any of my friends where I was going. I hadn't really told my family where I was going, but I didn't need to. I had my own apartment. Anyway, I was sitting there, really bored in the tent. There was literally nothing around me. I was wondering if there was any other people camping in the area, so I did a quick scout. Nobody was there. I just wondered if I had anyone to talk to. There was no one for literally miles around me. I even called out a few times. Nothing. Anyway, I was bored on my phone in my tent when I got a Snapchat off a random person. I didn't know who it was, but I decided that I might as well just open it, so I accepted their friend request. And there was a photo. At first it said, "You better start running." And I shit you not, that was the exact thing they said. I felt my heart starting to drop. Then, just as I was about to make sure nothing was outside around me, then I got another one. It was a photo of a tent in the dark. It was my tent. At this moment, I packed everything and got the fuck out of there. I still don't know who that was or how the fuck they had followed me out that far. Whether it was one of my friends playing a cruel joke on me, but I'm still scared shitless to this day, and I'm never gonna go camping